Alright, basically what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to show you a Ruby on Rails application that I built specifically for um, a stakeholder that I have as a client. Now what I did was, this is basically my copy, it's a testing copy, um, and I just want to go over a few things because it's really just the infrastructure that I want to get across to the public and those that want to be familiar with Ruby on Rails yet don't have that much experience with the framework. So what I'm using right now is I'm using Ruby on Rails 2.2, I believe it's 2.2.2, and also we're using RESTful based web services, so we're doing a lot of the authentication, login authentication, user validate credentials. That's all based through REST. Now, if you're not familiar with RESTful services, you probably want to um, grab a book and become familiar with the specific methods that are associated with um, the responses, the requested responses. You'll dealing with a lot of get, put, etc. Now, Ruby on Rails is based upon what is called, it utilizes an agile methodology. Now, it's a rapid application development tool, pretty much, and we'll be using the CRUD, what is known as CRUD, create, read, update, and delete patterns, really. So you're pretty much creating a record. You can edit a record, which would be update, and you can delete a record, which is delete. And obviously, the R is for read. Yet, a lot of people like DHH, David Hannemeyer Hansen, the person who created the framework, he at a lot of conferences he comes out and after the Us versus Them speech, he'll actually speak upon that Rails is not just used for CRUD. Now, don't get it twisted. Don't get it screwed up. Rails is a very, very powerful application framework. And it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's great because the bridge from creating applications and bridging them or porting them over to the web has become fairly easy in comparison to older standards of integrating technologies and switching over to a different platform. This is perfect. To me, it's perfect, and to a lot of other people in their eyes, it's perfect as well. So enough jibber jabber. Let me just show you what's going on, because right now I'm coming across some problems. I'm actually in the middle of the first phase. It should be completed pretty soon, and this would be considered what would be considered a phase of development. I mean, this is what rapid application development is all about. You would give this, you spend a few weeks on the really getting something out there and getting it to the stakeholder or the person who you're going to be selling the application to, and you want to get them a product in a short period of time. You don't want it to look crappy or messed up at all. You want to give them something that they'll appreciate and they'll be happy and stick with you. Because a lot of the times this could be under a contract. They could say, all right, I don't like this, let's go, this isn't working. Because this is a very it's a complex industry, it really is, and it's very competitive. So, okay, what you're looking at right now is what I actually have is this. It's funny because you're probably looking at this and saying, "What is this? This looks ridiculous." But there's no style sheet associated with this. So basically, I'm just showing you the logic and how I created the first phase. And obviously, I would like to have a designer do this, would build a CSS cascade and style sheet specifically for this, and maybe multiple ones, which the user could select and change up the graphical user interface of this appearance, right? What you're looking at right now. Don't, initially, right here under label, which would be the product, it says hair trimmer. Adobe Labs does not sell any hair trimmers. I don't even know why I put that there. Trim. So maybe I was getting a haircut at the time. Maybe I needed one. I don't know. But I just implemented the image uploading functionality, and basically that's done through a plugin which I used, Attachment Foo, and I believe Rick Olson developed that plugin, and he develops a lot of plugins. He develops I think RESTful authentication, which is one of the most well-known um, plugins, and that it's interesting because I was just speaking about dealing with RESTful-based web services, and that is a very, very it's perfect. It really is. If you're going to deal with RESTful-based services and you're going to create, have users logging in and out, and have a system that's very specific with CSRF attacks, any hackers, etc. If you want to grab that plugin, read the documentation. It will explain everything. It pretty much sets things up for you. What you have to do is you'll have to delete a few includes. You'll have to add them some places. It's pretty straightforward. You'll understand what to do. All right. So what I want to do is, I think it's already has me logged in, because with this, with the RESTful authentication plugin, which I'm using, I believe it will, if you have used it previously and you left, I think it has, it remembers specific for a few, I don't know what the time is, the interval, but it will keep your credentials inside of the cache or in the session object, which it will be called, and then it will destroy it after a certain amount of time. And you can adjust that just in case you don't want you want it to say I have a 10-second time that once they leave, 10 seconds later will be destroyed, because you don't want that somebody else coming over to your computer and gaining all your information. So just to keep that in mind. I believe I'm already logged in, so let me just log in as admin. Yeah, so I'm already logged in. It would have said you have successfully logged in. And you know what I should do here? I'm going to show you the output, the response that I'm getting through the console, the terminal. I'm using a Unix-based terminal, so it's Mac OS X. Actually, you know what? I still have to... Oh, here it is. Alright, so here we go. Here's the output from the web application itself, and as you can see, these are just responses, and they're pretty. Let me try something real quick. I'll search for a product, so let's just search for Sony. This actually would be a vendor, but I believe it will still come up since it's under the label. So as you can see, it spit out a whole bunch of code, which is the response. As you can see right here is the get method, as I explained. And let me just point something out. This is specific to Rails. Now, Rails deals with what is known as a MVC, a Model View Controller architecture. Now, it's basically a design pattern. Some people dispute it and they say it isn't, etc. So we'll just consider it a design pattern. But as you can see, as it says right here, processing products controller index for 127.0.0.1, which is the local host, it's the server, at the timestamp, what it is, it's April 10th, 2009, and the specific time of military time. And then right to the right of it, it has the HTTP method, which is a get. Now, look at the processing products controller where it has the pound index, okay? And now you'll see that the index is basically up here as well, which is the index page. Now in routing, Rails will, in Action Packed, which is specific to Rails, Action Packed is pretty much dealing with the controller logic, which is the business logic, and then the view as well, which you are seeing, which would be the page. Now that's the model view controller. Pretty much it explains everything. You got your controller, you got your view, and we're missing the model. The model is the data. That would be in the MySQL database. So that would be representation over relational database, SQL database. I'm using MySQL 5.45, but everything is very self-explanatory, and this is what is great about Rails. There's no leaks. There are no things that you're not aware of. If you pay attention to what is going on from the very beginning and from the ground up, and just understand it like you would the alphabet or a specific language. Don't cut corners. Just learn it the way it is.